This is how working with Valters makes me 7K per week consistently, right? And of course, I'm not going to say that without showing the proof. So here's the proof, right? 2.1K coming in, okay? 2.4K for today's earnings, 2.6K new sale, right? Welcome back, venture acquisition, 7K in a week, easy, okay? 3K new client paid, and of course 1.9K new client paid. And just to show as well, this is actually my background screen, right? You can see the palm tree here, and of course, like you can see the same palm tree here. Like literally, the proof is there. Okay, essentially, right? We've got me and Valters here in the system. How did we meet, you might ask? Essentially, I messaged Ahmad Khan because I found him on TikTok. I respected his content, of course. I respected the journey as well. I was like, yo, Ahmad, I appreciate the support on TikTok, brother. Just felt like connecting with you on IG. What is it that you do, by the way, right? Essentially, we found out that we're both from Manchester. And yeah, had conversation from there. Super chill guy, to be honest, right? Essentially, this is like your sign also to get a personal brand set up just so you can obviously have like connecting and networking opportunities, okay? Because you never know where your personal brand can like take you to or what opportunity it could, of course, bring for you, right? Essentially, the first time we linked up, right, went to a steakhouse, very nice. And then, of course, got the S-Class chauffeur out as well. Okay, so of course, on the first link up, Ahmad introduced me to Valters as kind of like another like-minded individual, as of course, me and Valters were both into system implementation at the same time as well, right? So it was like, we're a perfect fit for, being a like-minded individual and just a good connection in general, right? So essentially, I told Ahmad about my biggest bottlenecks I had. I wanted to be completely honest. And he essentially proposed me a system to implement, which was, of course, mass DMs in order to get more lead flow and book more calls, right? It's quite self-explanatory. But yeah, he introduced me to Valters, right? And of course, I want you to understand my situation before Valters. I was charging low ticket, about 200 to 300. Okay, I was struggling to generate lead flow. I had about 8K followers, poor quality leads, and no real nurturing system in place, okay? I was booking 11 calls a month. Like literally, this is the calls before. Prior 31 days, right? 11 created events, 5 complete, and 1 rescheduled. Okay. And a couple of them were cancelled as well. So it's like, it wasn't that great, I'll be completely honest. And then the calls after. Last 7 days, 34 created events, 32 complete, 2 rescheduled events. Literally, the proof is right there. Okay. Eventually, me personally, I invested into myself and took this opportunity as I spent the day with Ahmad. And of course, like to me personally, he was a calm guy. Of course, we clicked. Our personalities were the same. So honestly, like people get along really easily, right? And of course, we kept in contact with him for a while because, like, not only was he a sound guy, but like we got along quite well, right? So we kept contact with him for a while beforehand. And of course, we got along very well once again because our personalities were too similar. Okay, essentially, when I invested into Valters, right, we got a 4-week game plan here. Okay, essentially, week 1, right? The first week, we got content into place. Most of the parts for the second week is where I would start launching campaigns, etc. But essentially, for the first week, we got the short form content, long form content, and of course, we started pivoting our offer from charging, of course, that low ticket of 200 to 300 to now being able to charge payments like this. Okay. Essentially, right, we ended up setting up targets, essentially our competitors' followers, and we scraped all the leads, right? I'll even show you this video. If it wants to. Right? Yeah, literally. The video is like literally right here, scraping all the leads, etc. Right? Once we scraped all the leads, then of course we set up Como CRM, okay, which is essentially quite simple as well, right? You can see my name here, generated of course 2,482 incoming messages within quite a short period of time, to be honest, okay. Then of course once Como CRM was set up, we then set up ManyChat and of course got sequences in place when people opt in to our keyword CTA, right? Then, of course, we set up our appointment setting SOP, which is essentially this for our appointment set, of course, giving them a whole DM framework, a whole breakdown, just a whole SOP in general, right? Because we want to make sure that our appointment set was actually like on job, right? Making sure that our appointment setter can book calls. And that, of course, once again, links back to 34 created events, okay? Because our appointment setter was actually like invested into us, okay? And of course, like, as you probably know, every single appointment setter's dream is to get inbound leads, okay? Full inbound. And this is essentially what this is. Mass DMs is pure inbound, right? Because not only are they being nurtured, but they're also opting in, which is why we've got a many chat sequence set up as well, okay? Because at the end of the day, right, this is the opt-in. No one will, like, with the mass DMs, the initial message was like, DM me scripts for our 7-figure agency team assets, right? Who's going to say no to this, right? Automated client acquisition blueprint, inbound content production strategy, inbound content funnel, 7-figure personal branding strategy, mid to high ticket sales, ritual framework and breakdown, fast track to high ticket clients masterclass, ICP lead qualification system, and of course, why 80% of agency owners, coaches, and consultants struggle to get leads and how to fix it, okay? You can even see this is mine because it has my logo right there for each document. Okay, essentially, this is what we send out as an opt-in. Someone just has to DM us the word scripts on Instagram and they get this automated to them, right? Which is all classed as inbound because they're already like classed as warm leads because they've came to us and opted into us, right? Then, of course, once that's all got into place, we then started hiring for appointment setters, okay? And I'll show you the video as well here. This was just a meeting between me and Valters and, of course, our appointment setter at the time. But, you know, we managed to get combo into place as well, just making sure that we're training the appointment setter, ensuring that he knows everything top to bottom, because at the end of the day, we don't want to leave our appointment setter confused. So we broke down the SOP for him. We started the hiring process. We got him trained up as well. And of course, right, once like all that was live and running, the setup really only takes 1 week, right? Which is essentially all the setup, okay? And then second week, we start running campaigns, okay? Which, of course, furthermore into the second week, right, we finalized the setup, start of the week that was qualified, right? Trained him, etc., right? A lot of experience he had as well. So about 2 to 3 day campaign for the setter as well. We wanted to make sure that, of course, he is experienced and, of course, knows our SOP, knows our structure, knows our offer, knows our ticket price, etc., right? So after he was set up, he logged into Como, began appointment setting, outbound and inbound, purely inbound at the time as well. And, of course, that was all coming through mass DMs at the time, right? We ended up launching 100K DMs, of course, 1,250 followers, 135 opt-ins, 10 appointments booked within the first week at the time as well. And of course, I'll even show you proof, like, this is my IG at the time as well, right? This is my IG currently, sorry. Okay, but essentially, look, 148 opt-ins for scripts, 142 unique contacts, and essentially this was our, many chat sequence setup, okay? Hey, so you reply scripts for my 7-figure agency team assets. Here is the doc, right? Also, feel free to join my Discord community because at the end of the day, we wanted to loop them in to another middle of funnel section, which is our Discord, right? 141 cent, 142 cent, okay? And that 1 week, we ended up booking 10 created events, 6 completed and 4 rescheduled in that 1 week period of time, right? That first week, okay? Then essentially, right, for each lead, the system is all about getting like people into the funnel, right? The whole ecosystem, of course, qualifying them, okay? And then nurturing them to have multiple touch points, okay? Essentially authority, funnel with like Instagram, YouTube value that you basically provide, right? You want to basically give them as much value as possible, right? Also putting out story sequences, giving them a bunch of lead magnets and content, right? And Valters actually helped me out with all of this as well. Essentially, the 10 touch points is liking their posts, being interactive, like commenting on their posts, liking stories, sharing posts, talking in the DMs, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn content, and of course, following each other, okay? Essentially, long form content, right? Like, yes, I might not have the most amount of subscribers, but these videos are high converting for a reason because they're pure value, right? Like, who's not going to want to see an outreach strategy that books me 34 plus sales calls a week, right? Who's not going to want to see a whole course for free? Who's not going to want the most valuable funnel training ever, right? And this is all targeting towards my ICP, right? Essentially, once again, giving them out my free assets, okay? Linking them back to my personal brand as well, which is, of course, set out like this now. Okay, posting story sequences and ensuring our, of course, leads are nurtured. Okay, I did ask me a question as well. Someone asked what is the best way to get qualified leads. I've been smart about this, right? Lead qualification system and, of course, automated booked appointments. DME leads for both the systems. Easy opt-in, right? And then, of course, we want to redirect them to our Discord channel, which is Agency Vault. I'll also link it in the description below. But essentially, we give them a bunch of value in this Discord server, without a doubt. That's essentially what we want to do all the time. Just give them out a bunch of free value. Okay, so that was week 2 essentially set up, right? Then, of course, moving into week 3, sales calls taken about 8 to 10, closed a few deposits as well. I'll show you the video as well, right? Ended up, taking a sales call here just for proof, of course. Yeah, okay. And of course, ended up closing a sale for, well, a deposit, sorry, for 760, and of course, another deposit for 420, right? Of course, and our setter was more experienced at the time as well, of course, in week 3. He's already understood how to set the expectations and become an A player for the team, of course, right? And I'll show you another video. Okay. Once again, this was me and Tariq and Valters in this meeting, essentially training over, like, you know, retraining the appointment setter essentially. Okay, making sure that he's up to date and understands everything top to bottom, going over what went well, what needs to be improved, etc. Okay, because at the end of the day, we wanted to make him become an 18 player for that team, right? And then, of course, after that, we launched 250K mass DMs. We ended up getting about 1,723 followers, 355 opt-ins, all qualified as well, by the way, and about 24 sales calls in 1 week, right? And then at the time, we ended up closing 2 deposits for $600 each. Okay. And, at the time as well, a lot of interested warm leads, right? Which we could have put them forward to a sales call. However, it's smarter to warm them up first, of course, to build that know, like, and trust factor between me and the prospect, right? And having the prospects pre-sold before even jumping on the call, right? And then, of course, once these prospects actually ended up joining the call, literally within 15 to 20 minutes, they wanted to pay because they were already pre-sold due to all this nurturing, all here, all these touch points, all this nurturing, and keeping them in our ecosystem essentially. Okay. And literally, it just took a few questions for me to ask about scaling their offer, and literally, they wanted to pay within 15 to 20 minutes. Once again, the proof is here. Okay. All these payments coming in per week. Okay. And then essentially, once week 3 was done, we moved on to week 4, which was quite simple as well, right? We launched another 250K mass CM, which got me another 1,631 followers, 282 opt-ins, all qualified, 32 to 35 sales calls booked in from, of course, the backlog of running 2 campaigns and, of course, having the setter work over time, right? Look, here's the proof again. Last 7 days, 34 created events. Okay. And of course, here is the setter working over time. He sent me a picture of his time screen, right? 15 hours 52 on April the 20th, right? That is crazy. Okay. And then after that, we ended up closing consistently for 3K USD. And of course, a couple for 3.6K USD, charging a more higher ticket price, right? Essentially, to when we first started, we was charging only 2 to 300, which was outrageous. Okay. So that's when we started optimizing and charging more higher ticket. And of course, that was after our pivoting, which Valters helped me out with literally everything. So once again, everything I'm showing you here, Valters has helped me set up personally. And we've managed to get a whole ecosystem in place to ensure that, every lead is nurtured. And of course, most of this is all inbound traffic, making sure that, a lot of prospects are pre-sold as well, right? So of course, right. Then we linked up in Manchester, filmed a nice case study in the S-Class chauffeur, toured around the city really, and of course met in person, right? Me personally, I've never met Valters before, but this was the first time we met. Video real quick. right? Essentially, yeah, that is the case study that we filmed, right? The YouTube videos on Valters' channel if you want to fully check it out. But yeah, we met in person, super chill guy. And yeah, overall had a good time, good experience working with them as well. Of course, the proof is literally here as well, right? Making me 7K per week. Literally, once again, proof is here. Okay, but essentially this whole ecosystem, which Valters helped me out with, has been very beneficial as, once again, this was literally my situation before Valters. And of course, now you can see as well, I was on 8K followers. And once again, I'll go back to my Instagram, if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here, right? And you see now, literally, I'm on 12.2K followers. Okay, literally, like the proof is there. But essentially, yeah, that's been my experience working with Valters, and of course, Ahmad as well, like super chill guy. I appreciate him for connecting with me with Valters. But yeah,